Hey guys, I'm Alana from Win Win.
And I'm Jess from Win Win.
And let's have a long chat, a long, serious, hard chat about cover letters and resumes, right? We are just getting heaps of questions about, do I need to do this on my cover letter? How do I do this? Why have I sent it out 300 times and I'm getting nowhere? So we're going to go into a deep dive on resumes and cover letters, the structure it needs to be in, and potential issues that might happen if it's not created properly. If you're going to pay some dude off Gumtree $50 to do your resume and cover letter, no offense, but you're most likely going to come back to us a year later after not being in your dream job for a year, and then you're going to have to pay us to do it, and then you'll get results like that. So, Jess, can you just elaborate on why people potentially might be sending their resume off 100 times and just not hearing anything back?
So there's a lot of things that can be wrong, and it can be as simple as you don't have enough keywords in there and the ATS is filtering you out, or it's a terrible resume and you don't have enough information in there. It also can be, they ask you to upload a cover letter and you don't. They ask you to address certain criteria and you don't, which doesn't really happen a lot in mining, but it can. And yeah, it can be as simple as you don't have any safety or key mining terminology in there, so your resume is getting filtered out. And it can be as silly as it seems. It can be different colors, how many different fonts you've used, the size of your font, and how many different sizes you've used throughout the document, images that you've got in there, different colors you've used in the headers and footers. It can honestly be a massive range of issues that if you have someone writing your resume, or you're trying to create your resume yourself and you don't have any idea about how these ATS systems work, you can really dig yourself a hole, and your resume could look amazing. You could look at it and go, wow, this is so aesthetically pleasing. I love this. It looks amazing. All my information's in there, but it may not get you the job that you want to get.
Yeah. Applicant tracking systems, you'll hear us going on about these like till the cows come home. These are what most, and I say most, mining and recruitment companies use because they have a ton of functions, not just filtering resumes, but also then throughout the recruitment process, you can see where people are up to with inductions, what site they're going to, all this sort of stuff. But we're really focusing on how your resume needs to be structured to actually get through to that secondary process. And again, I always like to say the resume goes through two filters. The first one is the applicant tracking system, and the second one is the recruiter. It needs to be based so it can get through both of those filters, right? And look, but let's just keep in mind, a lot of people working in recruitment have no idea what they're talking about and what they're doing, and half the jobs that they're actually shortlisting candidates for, apart from what's written on a tick and flick sheet. No offense if you're working in recruitment. All right, but let's go back to applicant tracking systems. Again, like I say, most companies use these. We've used 5 different applicant tracking systems, and depending on how expensive they are, it will depend on what functions they can do, right? So some of them are brutal. You can put everything from word and page count in there, right? Filters out like what Jess was saying, graphics, logos, text, font sizes, like absolutely everything. So if your resume is getting sent out 100, 200, 300 times, there's probably a high chance it's just not applicant tracking system compliant. And the whole premise of the epitome of crazy is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, right? 100%. So that can be one of the reasons why your resume is not getting anywhere. It can also be, though, a few different things behind the scenes, like your Seek and LinkedIn profile. This is one thing we get. People come to us, they're like, yeah, I want a resume, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to go for this job. No worries. We do what we do. We split test that thing based upon ATS compliance, making sure, bang, it's going to hit the keywords. The format is simple enough so it's not just this big, like, oh, pretty multicolored work of art, whatever. It's going to be compliant. And resumes need to be really, really simple, actually, like really not dumbed down, but just simple so that they can get through the ATS systems. But Jess, talk about the importance of your Seek and LinkedIn profile and what happens with the resume after we do it for you.
So this is a lot of the time people come back to us, they say, no, I only want the resume, just do the resume for me, and then I'll go off and I'll be able to apply for jobs. And they come back 2 weeks later and they're like, again, I've applied for like 100 jobs. I'm getting knocked back. I'm not getting any interviews. It's not happening. What's happening? And we go into their profiles and they're a mess. And you need to make sure, because they both also run on systems in the background with keywords and things that recruiters are looking for. So if your profiles are not set up correctly, you can be sending out the most amazing resume, but your profiles are not going to come up for the recruiters that are like looking for the jobs that you are searching for. And you're just not going to get anywhere. You're going to be back again, asking us to do your profiles and fix them up for you. And it is actually quite a lot more complicated than you think. Like, there is a lot of things going on in the background of those profiles that you need to know how to set up your keywords and your skills properly to make sure that all of your information, your dates and everything align. All of your contact information is up to date and current, and you don't have 30 resumes saved in your Seek profile and one from 1995 that is the one that the recruiters are actually looking at when they're opening up your profile. So it's really important. And with LinkedIn, having a professional photo, like having, it doesn't have to be professionally done, but having a very simple basic profile, not something that you would have on your social media, and treating that as a professional social media, not treating your LinkedIn as your Facebook and shit posting and, you know, tagging your mates and like inappropriate things that you wouldn't want your employer to see. So there's a lot of troubleshooting to do on those profiles. If you're having issues, if you've got an amazing resume, you've had someone, if we haven't done it, you've had someone reputable write it for you and you're still not getting anywhere, that's when you need to sort those profiles out. So hit us up for it. We can analyze those for free for you. It's a game changer. It's a game changer. We have people get jobs within kind of an hour.
Minutes.
Yeah, minutes. As we're still in their profiles, people are being offered jobs and being asked to come to interviews. It's amazing.
From having an employer Seek and LinkedIn profile, I can tell you straight out of the horse's mouth, it is all AI based. I can do searches for whatever I want in our employer Seek profile. I can find candidates, right? Half the time I keep my own Seek, my personal Seek profile shut, because if I open it, employers will be able to find me. And then based upon my extensive experience working in the mining industry, I get job offers left, right, and center, right? And I can see these and I can also see who's viewing my profile and who's downloaded my resume. If you have a Seek profile and you've never seen this come across for you, or you've never seen anyone say, oh, blah, 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 whatever company has just downloaded your resume, that means there's a high chance your profile is not rated properly. Seek is massive. We do reviews on people's Seek profiles for them if we're troubleshooting for them or if they're not getting anywhere fast. And one of the filters is exactly, is your profile open so employers can find you? We have a ton of candidates who for some reason shut their profile off, and then they're like, oh, like I'm not getting any like messages from an employers. Of course you're not, because they can't even see your bloody profile. So that can be one of the things that on your Seek profile where you can 100% be going wrong. And LinkedIn, my God, that thing there is a massive topic in itself. Everything for your profile picture, keywords, your headline, what your background picture is, right? Your banner, that's what it's officially called. All of this, again, AI based, right? From our employer's LinkedIn profile, it is so easy for us to go and find a candidate for one of our employers just like that, right? It is really easy. I can tell you right now, if you've got multiple resumes and your profile is open, if they've got conflicting information on there, which from an employer's perspective, I've actually seen people's like resumes in their Seek profile and they've got different information. And it's like, hang on a minute, liar. So you want to really make sure that there's no places where you can actually get caught out on those profiles. So again, like Jess says, if you need help with that, get in contact with us. That is literally one service that we do to help candidates to get to that next step so they can at least be shortlisted or their resume can actually be on that recruiter's desk. Right, let's talk about a couple of different questions, very specific, that have come through. Do I need a cover letter for every single job, and do I need to specifically address it to a recruiter or a specific company? Jess?
No and no. No and no. You should definitely, like, your cover letter should be broad enough. It obviously contain all of that key information about your qualifications and why you are suitable for the job and the experience that's relevant to that job that you're applying for. But it should be broad enough that you can apply for a few different things. You should not be writing a new cover letter, and you don't need to specifically address the recruiter or the person who has listed the job. Most of the time you won't get a name anyway. It's very, very rare that you will apply for a job and you'll know who you're addressing it to, unless it's through someone. If it's that case and you are actually addressing someone that's, oh, my friend works here, send it to them, then definitely address them with the cover letter. But generally a no and a no.
Definitely. If it is done by somebody who has any idea about recruitment, any idea what an applicant tracking system is, they can actually create a resume and cover letter that will allow you to apply for multiple different jobs. Now, if old mate on Gumtree doesn't know what an applicant tracking system is and they can't do that, then you might need 20,000 cover letters, because firstly, you're going to have to send it off 20,000 times to get anywhere. So let's just say, yeah, in a nutshell, no. All right, let's talk about references on your resume. How many references do you need? Who can you use? And do I even need references on there? Yes.
You definitely need references. This is something we get asked about all the time, and some people are a bit funny about handing over references, especially if they haven't told their current employer that they're leaving. But you definitely need references. I always explain it and think about it like this. If we are shortlisting you for a job and we've called you and done a phone interview and you were awesome and your resume is awesome, you match the job, you're the best candidate. If we then go through your resume and we have to try and hunt down references, and you don't get back to us, or you've only got email addresses and it's too hard, we'll literally put you to the side and move to the next person whose references are easy to contact. We always say have 3. 2, but ideally 3, because then generally you're going to get 2 references out of 3 people once you make those calls. And they have to be professional references. We don't want your sister's husband or, some lady, your mom, or we don't want a family member or a friend. They need to be professional references, and preferably someone that is in a senior position to you. So even if they're a supervisor, leading hand, manager, director, anything like that.
Yeah, think outside the box. A safety person, use them if possible. If you own a business, you can use business clients that you have utilized to verify your work history or whatever it is, because obviously you're the owner, you've got people underneath you, so you need to find somebody. So exactly spot on to what Jess said, right? In most cases, we will ring 2 references, which is why it's important to have the 3rd reference there, just in case one of them don't answer the phone. And the more details that you can give, if you've got a mobile number, if you've got a landline, if you've got an email address, okay, when we want to shortlist a candidate for a role, right, we want to do that ridiculously fast, because it's a time thing, right? So obviously, the more details and the easier that reference is to get in contact with, the less you as a candidate will get pushed to the side and go into the, too hard basket. Now we've got to chase you for references. Now we've got to chase you for qualifications, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, your references, it is important. So anyone who's saying that you don't need references, no offense, but unless you work in recruitment, see ya. Righto, let's talk about another one. Okay, if this is predominantly for operators, do I need to put RII codes on any of my qualifications, like water cart, tipper truck, Moxie?
No, you don't. Obviously, you do want to list that you have those qualifications within your resume, especially if you're going for an operating job, that's the minimum criteria. But that's something that you can do down the track. Obviously, when you're writing in your resume that you've got a qualification, we as recruiters are assuming that that's true. And so when you get further down the process and, you're mobilizing to site, or you're signing up with the company, that's when you need to pull out those codes and pull out your certificates and actually hand that over. But it doesn't need to be listed in your resume.
Definitely. It can just take up word count, just get in the way, basically. It can cause the resume to blow out, believe it or not, especially for people who've got excavator, loader, dump truck, blah, 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 like all these qualifications. The simpler you have it, the better, because in a lot of cases, especially on the job advertisement, they're not going to have the RII codes, right? Sometimes they will on very rare occasions, but most of the case they'll say you need roller and water carts, or articulated dump truck or whatever. Again, when it comes to resume, keywords are one thing that everyone knows about. Keywords, yeah, I'll just copy and paste the job ad. That is not a guarantee that you're going to get the job, because personally, and if you do, I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but if you copy and paste that whole job ad, put it into your resume in white writing, which people are like, oh, I'll be like super clever and do it that way. Guess what? That comes up in the ATS system. Like every single word, whether it's in white or it's black or it's purple, like, ink or whatever lettering, it's going to come up. So if you're doing that, you're going to get caught. Like unless the company doesn't use an ATS, and yeah, they're bloody expensive. I'll tell you that right now.
And to be honest, like Alana said, a lot of the recruiters that are, and especially for big companies that are hiring for these roles, would have no idea what the RRR codes actually are for each of those. So you're better off to just have loader ticket, Moxie ticket, dump truck ticket, and list it like that so that they can go through and know that you've got those, because a lot of them won't know what the codes are for the different jobs.
100%. All right, next question is, I've got a 7-page resume. I keep getting knocked back for jobs. What's going on?
There's generally really strict page and word counts for their documents when they're going through these ATS systems. 3 pages maximum, and usually 1,000 words maximum.
If not
page.
way under that.
If not way under that. So if you've got something rambling on for 10,000, words, and you've got 5 pages, and you've got all these paragraphs about what an amazing employee you are and how awesome you are at this, just get rid of all the fluff, cut it down to the basics, cut it down.
Yep. Facts, not fluff. Like that's what we always say, right? I'm highly motivated. I like long walks on the beach, but nobody cares. They care that you can do the job. And when it got, like I said, filtration systems, they don't put motivated as a keyword that they want to see on your resume, right? They want facts of operated this, and specifics as well. This is a big one, right? Aware of these safety terminologies, which is another massive thing that so many people, when I get a resume and it's got a one-liner that says adhere to safety, like, no offense, that's not hitting any of the keywords, and that does not give me a clear indication. In fact, if you've got a resume where all they've done is a one-liner for your job description and in the bullet points, yeah, sorry, there is a line between having a resume that doesn't have enough information and then having a resume that's a 6-page, like a 1,000,000-word disaster. So there is a fine line. Keep that in mind. And again, like, we've done resumes for people with 1 page, right, that we've got over the line. We've doubled their salary. We've helped them to get that entry-level job, because resumes, there is an art to it. I hate to tell you. So yeah, it is the most important document that you're ever going to have. So if you're umming and ahhing about cost when it comes to that, then unfortunately you're probably still going to be in the exact same position that you are a year from now, and you would have missed out on all that good mining money if that's the way that you're going.
And while we're talking about page counts and word counts, another thing that we have a lot is people, especially people that have been in the same job for a long time, wanting to elaborate on their work history all the way back. And like, if you've got operating experience from 1990 or 1983, awesome, that's awesome. We can definitely cover that in your cover letter, or we can make reference to that somewhere. But if you're detailing every single job you've had all the way back to then, you're going to have one of these 7-page disasters, and it's not relevant. Really, 5 to 7 years at a maximum is as far as you really want to go back.
Yeah, just keep in mind as well, most resumes, if they do get through to that recruiter's actual computer screen, they're going to give it 3 to 6 seconds of going, all right, are all the right, have I got everything here, or is the person going in the too hard basket, And that again depends on how desperate they are to fill that role, how quickly, like, time is of the essence. But all your key information needs to be smack bang right there and then, so the recruiter can actually see it. So contact details, qualifications, and then your job history going back in chronological order. We see some resumes come through and they've got, like, their first job is from 1992. And then we've got to go scroll down to page 8 all the way over there to get to what are you actually doing right now? And then it's like dump truck operator for whoever, you know what I mean? So that needs to be first. Flip it around, okay? If you are doing that, please don't do that. That's pretty much it with that one. Let's talk about qualifications. In fact, no, we've already done that one, haven't we, Jess?
Contact details. Do you have to have your full address on your resume, Alana?
Well, look, there is a yes and there is a no for that, right? Well, let's go into the yes first. Yes, if you're in the point of hire, everyone's favorite like topic, point of hire, which is, as we all know, right, from every video that Jess and I have ever done, it is the position where the recruiter or the company needs you to be to shortlist you so that you can get the job that you want to apply for, right? So if the point of hire, and usually they're stated on the advertisement, is you need to be in Western Australia or you need to be in Singleton, 80 kilometers within the range of Singleton because it's a residential area and you need to have a house, right? If you're, the more specific that you can get, the better. But again, you need to keep in mind at that point of hire. So if you're in, let's say, New South Wales and you're potentially wanting to apply for a job in wherever, having that address can actually be detrimental, right? So there is only certain times when we would say, look, how about we just use the state? Most of the time, though, it is your full address, right? Because they want to know where you are. Like the recruiter wants to know, are you in that specific position? Anything to add with that one, Jess? Hopefully I didn't just struggle.
That's it. Obviously, if you can, ideally you want to get an address for where you need to be for the point of hire if you can, if you have friends or family or somewhere you're going to be staying if you do get the job. So that's ideal, is to have an address, but obviously not everybody can do that. They're waiting to get a role before they leave. So then in that case, you do just have to put the state.
Yeah. And if you're applying for a job from New Zealand, no deal, right? There are only we get this every day of the week. I'm in New Zealand, I want to move to WA, or I want to move to Australia to get a job in the mining industry. I keep applying from New Zealand and I keep getting knockbacks. Point of hire, my friends, point of hire. You need to move, right? Keep in mind, the borders have been flung open after the whole COVID scenario. And basically pretty much like every man, woman and child has come into the states where all the jobs are, especially Irish at the moment. But we've been inundated with Irish, which is awesome because they've got a cool accent, but they have moved to WA, right? They have Moxie tickets. I swear they shell those out with driver's licenses at the moment. But yeah, anyway, so we have got a ton of awesome candidates and like potential employees who have come into the state, right, who are buying for these jobs. Unless you've got a highly sought after trade such as like an HD fitter or an auto electrician or something like that, then pretty much you will need to move to whatever state that you want the job in, like full stop. There's really not much more elaboration for that one, unless Jess, you want to elaborate on it.
Yeah, no, I think that you will know if you're a tradesperson and you are a boiler or a welder or something that are really sought after. You will get job offers from wherever you are if you're seeking your LinkedIn profiles are set up properly. Yeah. But other than that, you really need to be here. And if you can't physically be here, then you need to have accommodation set up and ready to go and have an address here and be ready to basically fly at a moment's notice if you are applying for roles and you expect to be considered for one. We do have an awesome relocation program if you are moving from New Zealand or you're contemplating, that we can go through some things with you about moving over, about relocating, and about finding job and accommodation once you get here. So if you do need help with that, hit us up. If it's from over East or from New Zealand, we can definitely help you with that.
Yeah, definitely. And look, this has mainly been like geared around all the questions we're getting about resumes and cover letters. As you know, worldwide, we get candidates from all around the world come to us to get us to do their resumes, right? Because the principles are the same. The employment platforms are generally the same, and what needs to be on a resume is generally the same. At the moment, we're getting a lot of people from overseas coming in and saying, hey, I'm trying to get a job, but my resume is not, I'm getting nowhere. It's your resume. Full stop. It's your resume. Big, giant profile pictures are not going to get through most applicant tracking systems. Yes, some of them, or the companies that don't use them, but most of them will just say, look, if you want a free resume analysis, we'll literally break it down based upon applicant tracking system compliance and how it needs to be structured. If you need help with that, get in contact, info@winwin.com.au. It's all a tax deduction. We've got Afterpay, and literally just think about it this way. If you come to us, we do it for you, and a week later, you're earning, let's say, Jules offside, $110,000 a year job per year, and you get to use that as a nice tax deduction, then is it worth it? Of course it is. So whatever. If you don't want to, and you want to go to some random off Gumtree, we'll see you in a year when you are still not working in the job that you want, because unfortunately, that is something that we see all the time. So that's it. Anything else to add? Resumes, relocation, cover letters, Jess?
Just the only thing that I wanted to add is if you are in WA or you are in Australia, where you're near a mining area and you're looking to get into the work, you've never done it before, now is the time to get in, because there are literally thousands of people immigrating, especially to WA at the moment. We are being inundated with international people on working holiday visas that are getting work immediately. Yeah. And by this time next year, the job market's not going to be the same, and you're not going to have the same chances of getting in as a greenie. So if you want to get your foot in the door, now is the time to do it. Get in now, get in before tax time, get your resume done, claim it back on your tax, and be in that job, in the next few months, and set up before everyone else starts coming in.
Yeah, 100%. It's just gone out a couple of months ago that they're looking at bringing an additional 700,000 people into the country. Now, that's not that much considering there's about 23,000 people in Australia, but a lot of them are potentially coming to like places like WA and vying for these jobs. So if you're in Australia right now, you need to position yourself so that you can get one of these entry level or even skilled roles instead of all the people that are coming in, because your chances are going down. Your perfect chance was COVID time, and unfortunately that's gone now. The borders are open, so the next best time is right now. If you need help, that's what we do. We literally, through our career consultation side of the business, get hundreds and thousands of people jobs all around the country and beyond. Even did a resume for some guy in France. I don't speak French apart from one word, which I'm not going to say. But yeah, then he ended up getting a wicked offshore job. So look, irrespective of whether you are watching this from, hit us up if you need help with that. Yeah. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.
Stay tuned for the next episode of the Jess and Alana show. All right. Cheers, guys. Bye.